Hello guys and welcome to a new video. So in my video today I'm going to continue talking about this grinder, the CF Wisdom grinder that we spoke about in a couple of videos before. So in today's video I'm going to show you, because like the previous times when we used it, it was just about espresso and how capable it can be to grind for espresso. And we did some shimming for it, and the shimming has done an amazing job in order to give us much more range for grinding finer grind. Right now I'm going to do the opposite, because not everyone will have a small grinder to just do it for to use it for espresso, but on the other hand they can use it for a very easy way of pouring coffee, which is making a filter coffee. So we will try to do filter coffee with this grinder today in this video. So my objective is to see if it really gives good quality filter coffee. This is number one. Number two, to check how much time will it take to grind for filter coffee. Okay. And I'm thinking to do the same, but for other grinders like the Star Seeker grinders, and try to compare the quality that they produce to something like the SSP that I have in my DF64. So in today's video, I'm not going to do any comparisons, because I cannot compare something like this to an SSP flat burr, because this has a very small burr and it is not at all the same range or anything, or even size, comparing to something like a 64 millimeters burr. So let's first check what grind settings do I have to set it to. So usually I do my espressos around 15 to 20, as you see now. So it was already set to 17. I think I have to go much coarser, maybe something like one full rotation, or even I'll go to like 0 after the full rotation. Okay, so this is like 20 more steps or 15 more steps after the full rotation. I'll check what the coffee will be here. I'll throw in some coffee and see whether it's going to be good or no. So just for trial only, I'll turn on the grinder. But actually I'll pour the coffee like that, and turn on the grinder after covering. Double click. Very quiet in grinding. This seems to be a little bit coarse. Need to go finer for filter coffee. This is very coarse, to be honest. So let's do finer settings. So let's go maybe to something like 60. So it was already on 17, and the manual of the grinder used to say that 65 is like coarse enough to do French press, but I added a shim, so this has increased the grind range of the grinder. So let's see at 60 what the grind will be looking like. So I'll throw in a few beans also again, and then we can turn it on and see. This is finer, for sure. Much finer. But we can go a little bit fine also, because it still feels like coarser for filter coffee. This can be good for some brewing methods, if you go for like American coffee or Calita maybe. But I think I'll go finer. So I'll try to do 50. And if it's very fine, I'll go 55 and see. This is how you like calibrate your grinder, or like dial it in before doing your coffee, so that you can be sure on what settings you go for. This is it. I think it's fine now. Yeah. This is how it looks like. I think it is okay for filter coffee. We can do a filter coffee on 50 and see. So the rule is, when you do some filter coffee, you have a ratio and you have a method to pour your coffee. And based on that, you can decide whether you need to go finer in the next time or coarser. There are very easy methods to have a lot of good recipes without the need to be somebody who is very good in pouring coffee at home. I'll show you an example of that. One of the applications is called 4 to 6 method. There is also brew timer. There is also something like so I believe 4 to 6 method is a very good one because it's built on the Tetsuka Soya's method of 4 to 6. So you need to add 18 grams of coffee and then 300 ml of water. This is one. You can use this one. You can tell the application what you need to do exactly. For example, I need a balanced coffee, or I need something to be normal but acidic a little bit, or something like sweet and normal, or something that is only sweet. So depending on the sweetness versus the acidity, you choose which level you go for. So a lot of people do it in the middle, which is a normal coffee. Or if you need it to be a little bit sweet, you can go a little bit below the normal, so it's sweet to normal, okay? And it will tell you, it will ask you another question, which is how about the strength of the coffee? How strong you want your coffee to be, starting from lower strength up to low normal, or normal high, or higher. So if you go something like this, which is a normal coffee, it will ask you to now click this button to generate a recipe. Then it will tell you what the recipe should be about. So you need a water depending on the coffee grind, the coffee roasting that you have. So if it's a light roast, you need a water of 93 Celsius. If you have a medium coffee beans, medium roasted beans, you need a water temperature of 88 Celsius. And if you have a dark beans, then you need to go for lower temperature, of course, because you don't need to have a better coffee in the end. So you go for 83 Celsius. Okay, and then it will tell you that this is the step that you achieve the balance, then you achieve the strength after that. So you pour like that 49 grams in around 45 seconds, then you wait until they are all done. Then you add another 71 grams, so the end is 120 grams of water over the coffee in the first 1 minute and a half. Okay, and then in the next 1 minute and a half, you will do 60, 60, 60. So 60 grams every 30 seconds. And once you are fine with this, you can just click start to do it. So let's do it together now and see what the result will be. First of all, I will get my scale to weigh the beans. Okay, and then I will scoop some beans in the cup. So these beans are medium light roast. As you see, they are not very medium in color, and at the same time they are not light. These are anaerobic beans. That's why when you get to deal with some anaerobic fermentation beans, these are also double anaerobic fermentation. You will have to end up with a coffee that when you roast it, it will not be very unique color as you see due to the fermentation process. Okay, these are very good beans from Colombia, and I need to take a little bit out. One more bean. Yeah, so we are left with 18 grams of beans. Then let's give it a little bit of a spray of water. And that's it. Then you shake the coffee after spraying it with water. Maybe we can weigh the cup of the grinder, 42.3. Let's pour the coffee. There's a bean behind, yeah. Then let's see how long will it take to grind the coffee, first of all. Then let's do the coffee after that. I need the water to be of 88. So I'll keep it at 88. That's a Brewista kettle. Very small grinder, just like very handy. So it's kind of the size of a phone. Yeah, very similar to the phone size. And I think because it's a filter coffee, it will not take much time. It will be definitely less than a minute, or maybe a minute. This is how the coffee is falling from the shoot. Yeah, I think it's a little bit over the minute. Yeah, so 70, mostly 70 seconds, a minute and 10 seconds, and that's it. You got your coffee ground. So 1 minute and 10 seconds was enough to grind our 18 grams of beans. I don't know if the coffee grinding is good enough. All that will be visible, of course, when we do the filter coffee, but the smell is wonderful. The smell is wonderful due to many factors. Of course, the most important factor of them is that the beans are good. The quality of beans is really good. So I have third wave water in this kettle. So I'm giving myself all the good chances to make good cup of coffee. I'm using third wave water, and I'm using a good recipe from Tetsuka Soya. And I'm using Haryu V60 V1 and Haryu V60 V1 filter. So everything should go well. First of all, you need to make sure that the filter is wet enough, and also that the overall dripper is heated. So that the filter sticks to the wall of the dripper, and at the same time you can use a bit of a spoon or so to just or sometimes people just pull the filter a little bit from down so that it goes to stick completely to the wall like that. This is a very important step when you do filter coffee. Make sure that the filter is sticking to the wall of the dripper so that the dripper is waved in a specific way. You need to make sure that this is exactly how the coffee is going to fall. Okay? Then you throw in the water, and you pour your coffee. Let's see how much coffee do we have. Yeah, those are the 18 grams, exactly, zero retention. I like, to be honest, I like. Okay, so let's just make sure that the coffee is distributed well in the dripper like that, and that the kettle is already keeping the water temperature as 88. And let's start together. So I'll click on the phone. I want to make sure that everything is visible. So I'll click on the phone like that, and then I'll be ready. Yeah, so I'll pour 45 grams, actually 49 grams, and leave it to soak for 45 seconds. Yeah, so I have 49 now, 50. So I'll wait until it becomes 45, then I will pour the next shot, which is another 71 grams or 70 grams then. So I reach 120. Okay, so this is a very important step when you do filter coffee, because this is when the coffee is like blooming. And blooming is important because it helps with producing much more flavor for your cup of coffee. Yeah, right now let's do the next one. So I do in circles. This step should be until it's a minute and a half on the timer. You need to be reaching 120. You know if the coffee needs to be a little bit finer or coarser based on the time that it takes to take the water from up to down. So we're now at 120. We'll see how much the extraction will be in the end. This is step 2. There should be some sounds coming from the application, but my phone was silent, yeah. So right now, let's do step 3. We need to pour 60 ml until we become 2 minutes. So I do circles, and I can see the flow. I can reduce my flow. We need to reach 180. Yeah. Okay. And then we should be doing at 2 minutes and 1 second. Yeah, 10 seconds, sorry. We need to do the 4th pour until we reach 240. Then the last one from 240 until we reach 300. This is Tetsuka Soya's method. Yeah, so 240. This is until we become at 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So we can go 2-3 steps finer. But how do we know if the grinder is grinding good for coffee, for filter coffee? Simply by looking at many factors. One of them is the taste of the coffee in your mouth, how tasty or not it is when you try it. Number 2 is looking at the bed before even trying the coffee. The bed of the coffee will tell you everything. The bed will tell you everything. So we don't need this one anymore. And right now, we almost done the cup of coffee in the time that we have in our hand, maybe just a matter of 10 seconds less or so. That's very little. So this is the 4 to 6 method application. Number 2 is, let me grab something to put under some tissues, just to make sure it's not gonna drip. I want to show you how this looks like. Well, actually, let's get the camera closer. That's better. So right now, I want you guys to look at how the bed looks like. So the coffee bed is a very important factor to tell you whether the grinder that you have and you're using for making filter coffee is good or no. How? By simply looking at this. Look at the bed. If it looks like that kind of coarse on the top, this means that the grinder is good for filter coffee. But for some other grinders, for example, like Niche Zero, as an example, because it's a very famous one, when you do filter coffee with Niche Zero, in most cases, the top of the coffee will be very muddy. It will be very soft. You will find it so fine on the top that looks like a mud. Okay, so you grab a spoon and you look at how the coffee looks like on the top. As you see, kind of like no fines at all on the top. I hope that you can see that clearly on the camera. I'm trying to get the phone as close as possible so you can see how it looks like. So this is number 1. Number 2, looking at the sides of the filter. While pouring the water on the filter, don't pour water on the sides of the filter so that you don't push the fines back. Leave the fines to go on the sides. And look how much fines are there after you pour your coffee. And based on that, you can see whether your filter coffee is good or bad. I mean, your grinder is good or bad. Look at the sides here. Very minimal brown color coming on the sides. If the grinder is producing much more fines, you will find that a lot of the sides are full of fine coffee that's sticking to the wall of the filter. And this is definitely going to make your coffee very bitter. Now let's taste the coffee and let's try to do some refraction using the refractometer. So let's together taste the coffee and see how the taste is. So I'll pour some hot water in a cup first to heat it. And then after that, we can pour the coffee and see how tasty it is. After I taste it, I will check the refraction result, because I don't want to be biased in the way I judge the coffee. So we'll do everything together on camera so that we guarantee the integrity of the experiment. I know the taste of this coffee when I try it on the SSP burr for sure, so I will just give it a sip now after I smell it for a couple of smells. So Kasoya's method is good, that you can always tweak it. And the way we did it this time is not producing a lot of strength for the coffee. So I feel that it's a little bit light on my tongue, yet it preserves all the notes. It's good, but I could have tweaked the method to be like that to give myself better experience. I would have reduced the water to be something like 250 grams instead of 300, okay, while giving myself much more ratio. So this is number one. Number two, I could have played with the strength here by adding a little bit higher. So if I do that, okay, it will generate something like that. To pour 51 grams per 45 seconds, then I will do another 50 for 45 seconds again, like that, 45 and then 45, I mean 50 and 50 for a minute and a half, and then instead of doing 3 pours, we will do 4 pours, 38 or like 40 ml in each pour of them. So the much more number of pours will help the coffee to be more strong. It tastes nice. I enjoy it, to be honest. It is really nice. It has a good taste for the coffee. I don't feel any kind of sourness or bitterness when I drink it. It's just very balanced. And I think that the reflection test will give us some good result as well. Let's see together. So guys, this is a reflection test result is going on right now. As you see, it is still testing. So I added a sample here and then I set all the settings. So it is 1.16%, which is a 19.33 TDS, and which is still within the boundaries of a good cup of coffee. Still, a little bit of tweaking here or there might definitely help to get a better result. And in the end, as I mentioned, it's not just the numbers that you need to look at in order to judge the cup of coffee you're drinking. It is how the taste is when you try it. If it tastes nice on your tongue, that's it. You don't need to have a refractometer. You don't need to do some math to judge the cup of coffee, because what matters to you is just the taste that you have in your cup. So right now it is falling within the sweet spot block, the middle block. It can be better. Yeah, definitely it can be. Maybe I need to play around with the temperature. I can make it 90 instead of 88. I can go a little bit finer instead of that. I can, like, for example, here, I did the coffee grinding at 50 on my grinder. Maybe I need to go a little bit backward, maybe 2-3 steps, even 5 steps, and try another cup and see from there. If it's very slow, then I might need to go a little bit closer, 2 steps or 3, like that. So it's always a game that you keep playing. You keep on like playing around with different parameters. You have the coffee grinding settings, the water temperature, the dose, the method, the pouring methods, how many pours do you have to follow, the timing of you're aiming for. All these are different parameters you play with when you do filter coffee. In addition to the dripper that you're using, what kind of a dripper are you using? Are you using a filter like a normal one, like a Hari one, or are you using any other new brewing drippers that are there in the market, like the different ones that are there on all the websites online? All these are different parameters you can play with, and you can achieve different taste for every cup of coffee you're brewing. The most important thing is you just enjoy what you're doing and you have fun with your coffee. So I hope that this video was able to help you, and I'm going to do another one comparing the Star Seeker grinders for pour over methods, and see if they give good pour over coffee as well as the espresso they do or no. Let's wait for the next one. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting my channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.